elected yet, but you are quite proactive already. You know, you're dealing with residents' issues already. They're contacting you, and you know you're actually communicating with them and representing them, which is more than what their current county council's doing. But one of the big issues that we all see, the town centre. Mm-hmm. It used to be this vibrant place. Everyone went to shopping, especially over now lockdown and COVID. It's started to die again. You know, businesses are closing, they're moving out. You only have to walk through the town centre now. There's for sale signs up. And the current county councillor, you know, has slagged off, you know, nail bars and hairdressers and barbers opening up in the town, which actually is quite good to see that there is a business there that, you know, there's demand obviously for them, otherwise they wouldn't open. But, you know, other local independent shops in the town are closing. You know, we all see it. If elected, what will you do to help local businesses in the town or across your ward?
Okay, I'll tell you what, there's like 3 or 4 sections there. So the first one, obviously, I've been into many of the businesses, obviously safely. I've a leaf lifted everyone. So every business across the ward, so that's the town centre, you know, Elwick Place, Bank Street, High Street, through the back to where the tank is, down to Elwick Place, which obviously is the new development. But you obviously, as a council, KCC, we don't own those buildings. Some buildings are owned by ABC, but a lot are private landlords. The shopping centre is owned, I think, by Savills. You know, so there's separate entities. They've all got their own agenda, but they don't seem to want to loop up. So, I mean, I've spoken to many a business to think, look, would you be interested in some sort of, not say partnership, but some kind of group to talk and discuss and think, look, actually, what do you need? Because, you know, if there's no central point of getting the conversation started or what issues you've got, it could be around policing, it could be around parking, it could be around the bus route's wrong. You know, there's many issues, and I've spoken to a fair few. You know, and compared to other towns, Ashford is still far better than, believe me, I've seen around Kent. I mean, obviously not so much in the last year, but, you know, I go around the country, I travel, London, it's still far better than, say, Folkestone, far better than Dover. Ashford is, you know, has got really good elements. The new Elwick Place is, you know, that's a great partnership with the council to take initiative to redevelop an area, which is now moving up Bank Street. We've got new, you know, fish and chips and pizzeria. There's new businesses opening up. Some have closed down, some have moved site, but you've got to look. I mean, for me, I think that, you know, the town centre needs to be a smaller entity, but more controlled. I think, look, you can't fill every shop, but actually, you know, let's say controversial, but you've got too many streets going off where actually a lot of people, whether elderly or ones that don't have the, you know, the need to be able to walk, it's too far to go that far down to get either a taxi, which obviously expensive if they get the bus, or to park. You know, it's a mile away, it's a distance away. To think, well, I'm not going to bother to go there to carry shopping from one end of town to go to the buses down on Bank Street, but they could be shopping at the old Marx's, so obviously that's closed, and move to the other site. So it's almost, you need it to be more condensed, that it's actually more filled. So actually you have a better area, or create a kind of eating zone, or this is more outdoor dining in the evening, so it's a destination. I would like the market to come back in some form, and it's been good to see from not last Saturday, the Saturday before, we had a vegan market. There was food, clothing, jewellery, different people from around Ashford Borough, some around Kent, with their wanting to, you know, show their wares. There's another one in, you know, 3 weeks' time, but I would still like, there's an area there, and it just opened up. You know, there's a lot of footfall, a lot of, you know, safely, people are out and about eating. There's an element there around parking, because I still think people still think the parking charges, obviously it's an income for councils, for Ashford Borough, but it still feels too pricey. Or whether we could look at different parking, or you have a remit of some sort of season ticket thing, or buy a certain amount of shopping, you can claim some back, or but just have a conversation around what would work. You know, obviously the COVID has moved things forward, I think 5-10 years ahead. So, you know, we can't have high streets from the old years because they didn't have out of town shopping centres, they didn't have online shopping. That has moved drastically through COVID because you couldn't go to shops, so the only options were online, and they've boomed. And then a lot of people think, well, actually, I don't have to go and pay my parking, I don't have to drive into town, I don't have to get changed. So we lose those people that would go in and pick up an item here, have a coffee here. So it's a different type of customer going out, but we want the other people to come back in as well. So, you know, for me, it's got to be coordinated between, yes, we've got the outlet centre, which is doing, you know, obviously will do well again because of the nature of what the business is and some new elements there and outside dining and licence changes. But we've got to look at what kind of town we want. Do we bring some more residential in on certain parts? But for me, the count needs to be condensed, so actually it's a thriving, so actually when you walk along, all the shops are taken, and the element, you know, obviously the opposition one, or, you know, the current leader telling people what shops should be in there. You know, we're not communist, we're not Chinese or North Korean, they don't have a choice. It's up to a business person and the market, and if the market wants, now, you know, these are people skilled with a career, you know, people, restaurants, you know, are popping up and have done well even through the COVID. These people are skilled. My friend's a beautician, you know, and then to be told that, you know, she's not wanted, she's not valuable, you know, that's her skill, and she has multiple things that she does. One that's a hairdresser, I know, and to be, you know, with the word slagged off, you know, these are people that have a career that employ other people. There's jobs.
Yeah, they're council should represent.
Oh, everyone. This is, you know, it's a career. The market decides. You can't just open a shop and think, right, you've got to shop there, even though the product's awful. It's not what you want. The market dictates, and people think, look, we want more. I mean, all these now bars and head, they're all busy. They're all packed when you want to go in, and it's the market decides. And shops, but you've got to create the environment around having a kind of package to think, look, we've got the footfall or we've got the design, that actually this is a good destination to come to. So Ashford has got really good strengths. I just think some of the bits are fragmented, and obviously they've got plans they want to do, but I think we've got to work, all of us. It's not just like, oh, I cover the town centre. It's important to, you know, rural south, to the borough even in, say, Kingsnorth, even though you may not use that town centre as much, you know, the hub of Ashford is the heart, and if it beats off, everything has a better service leading off and into it. You know, for me, I'm pro-business, because these people, you know, it's jobs, income, and the services you expect to pay for bus routes, transport, social care comes obviously some from council tax, but it's from income that comes from these businesses, and without that, then you have to cut even more things back, or it becomes a, you know, a harder option of choices have to be made, and think, right, you know, is a decision between making this policy or that policy. So, you know, to have a go at people and, you know, their careers, that's just ghastly. It's ghastly, you know, and if it means you're against that business, you're probably against all the others because you don't like it. It's not for you to decide. That's the customer, and they're, you know, showing with their feet they want these businesses open, and good luck to them.